Random House Audio presents Sweet Judy Blue Eyes, My Life in Music, written and read by Judy Collins.
For my mother, Marjorie Lorraine Bird Collins Hall, 1916 to 2010. Author's note. I have made every attempt to quote the conversations of the people in this book correctly. If I've failed to be exact, I've attempted to convey the sense and the meaning. At times I've also quoted letters, and those are verbatim. In all cases, it's my memory of an event that supersedes the memories of other participants who might have been at the same party. There are no accidents in memory, I think, for memory has its own reason and its own logic. What I remember is what happened to me, as I best recall it. The parade. How exhilarating it was to march along the great boulevards in the sun-flash of trumpets and under all the waving flags. The flag of desire, the flag of ambition. So many of us streaming along, all of humanity really, moving in perfect sync, yet each lost in the room of a private dream. Billy Collins. Sweet Judy Blue Eyes. Prelude. God of sun and moon, God of ocean tides, you who drive the stars, you of perfect light, teach me how to sing. Judy Collins, Singing Lessons. It's a Sunday night, and I'm traveling from Hartford to New York City, heading in from a show. Rain pours down, and the driver of my sedan is battling the storm like a captain of a schooner in white waves. Thoughts of my life flow like the water around us, years of life, love and anger, rage and hope, the songs I have sung, the men and women I have loved. Sweet Judy Blue Eyes is playing on the radio softly, but I hear it through the steady sound of the rain and the hiss of the tires on the road. Unmistakable, Stephen Stills' voice floats above the harmonies of David Crosby and Graham Nash. Stephen's guitar cuts into my heart like an emotional arrow. Whenever I hear the song in a grocery store, in an airport, on my own CD player, it resounds like a call from mystic lakes. It pierces the heart of this girl and all the other grown-up girls who think it tells their story. All great songs make you feel that way, as though they were written especially for you. But Sweet Judy Blue Eyes really is my story. Stephen wrote it for me when we were both young and innocent, during our brilliant romance. The song never fails to transport me back to that thrilling and terrifying time we call the 60s, when so many great songs proclaimed our grand, noble visions. We were reckless dreamers, hell-bent on finding our own personal happiness, determined to elevate all of humanity above the anger and violence of the past. There's an old saying that every time you sigh, a drop of blood falls from your heart. It seems I sigh more now than I ever did, and that probably means my heart has lost many tear-shaped drops. I have lived my life, as we all do, between these sighs, between these drops of blood. My life has taken me from innocence to rage and back again. Those precious early years seem oddly clearer to me now, at 70. The people I knew and loved, and the drama of that diamond-bright time, move closer as they slip farther away. Sweet Judy Blue Eyes will tell many stories I've never fully told, demons I've battled and tragedies I've endured. In 50 years in the music business, there are also the blessings and grace I have found through it all. I will tell how I found my way to my marriage to Lewis Nelson, and more than 33 years of living with a man who is my partner, my friend and lover, my solace and companion, whom I met when I thought I had lost everything that mattered. I will talk of faith and money, sex and drugs and rock and roll, about learning to sing and tour through all the days of shining sun as well as pouring rain. I will tell of my ongoing quest to become and to remain an artist. With the passage of time, I'm able to talk about circles that have been completed and old friends with whom I've reconnected. Many have died, each spiriting away a unique impression of me that no one else will ever have, each leaving a ghost of himself behind in my memory. These memories are my treasures, memories of singers and poets, rabble-rousers and rebels, the closest of friends, the dearest of lovers, family members who were a part of me. There are so many, including Marjorie, my mother, Chuck, my father, and Clark, my son. Robert Richardson writes of the philosopher William James, trouble was for him a precondition for insight. I can only hope that the same is true for me, and that I have learned at least some of the lessons born not only of my own troubles, and of those close to me, but also of the people for whose causes I have marched and rallied, raised money and gone to jail, and for whom I always, always sing. I will speak of the wars of an emotional nature against addictions, against suicidal depressions, against alcoholic drinking. These are not wars with fire and steel, but they are wars just the same, often with terrible prices to pay. No anti-war protest, no action against prevailing prejudice ever was fought harder than these. Through all these years I've been eternally grateful for the gift of music. There are times when the sounds of the voices in my audiences, singing along with the old sweet melodies, are for me all that stand between despair and joy. When we sing, we can do anything, change the world, bring peace, be our best selves at last. When we sing, our hearts can lift and fly over the troubled waters and over the years. Chapter 1. Ruby-Throated Sparrow. I am yours, you are mine, you are what you are. Stephen Stills, Sweet Judy Blue Eyes. 1968, the year I met and fell in love with Stephen Stills, was a leap year. In the Chinese calendar, it was the year of the monkey, a year destined to explode with creativity, social upheaval, and tragedy. The U.S. involvement in Vietnam had escalated into all-out warfare and was tearing the country apart. Martin Luther King Jr., in whom we invested so much hope, had been murdered in Memphis on April 4th. The day after King's assassination, Robert F. Kennedy made one of the last speeches of his life at a political gathering in Indianapolis, originally intended as a rally for his run for president, reminding the weeping audience of black and white mourners that he, too, had lost a brother to a white man with a gun, and urging them, as the Greeks had put it, to tame the savageness of man and make gentle the life of this world. Many young people were marching against the war, and music captured our conflicting feelings of disenchantment and romantic idealism, from the traditional folk songs of the Weavers, "Wasn't That a Time?" and "Rock Island Line," to the powerful laments of singer-songwriters, Dylan singing, "The hard rain's a-gonna fall," Phil Oak singing, "I Ain't Marchin' Anymore," and Joan Baez singing Silver Dagger in her haunting soprano. This incredible music was everywhere, playing on top 40 and FM radio, mixed in with the Beatles' Lovely Rita and Eleanor Rigby, the Byrds sparkling with Jim McGuinn's 12-string guitar, on Mr. Tambourine Man, and the Mamas and the Papas urging us to leave cold New York and dream of sunny California. "I'd be safe and warm if I was in L.A.," they sang, their heartbreaking harmonies draping the airwaves with longing. There was the angst-filled psychedelia of the Doors, with Jim Morrison begging us to light his fire, and Grace Slick singing with Jefferson Airplane, her seductive voice drifting on the silky sound of her band. "One pill makes you larger, and one pill makes you small." All these songs were hitting the radio waves side by side with the reports of casualties in Indochina. The intermix of news flashes and this wistful and sometimes furious music made the...
Sample complete. Ready to continue?